with kid brothers. I feel the same way, and I understand, like, following on this now, I'll leave the link to this down below if you want to read the other 11,000 comments on it. But, and my parents, when we were alive, I had to kind of go and help them financially, and also my dad had dementia, right? So I had to really help them out. I ended up getting them in a home. It took me a few years to pull it off. But something I did notice was everybody in that home, very few people had anybody but visited them. There's kind of one of those things where you're right, most kids aren't going to come and save you. But it's not like nobody visited. It's not like they didn't stress. It's not like they didn't have all the years of life of at least seeing them every couple of weeks. You know, for phone calls, being at the holidays, things like that. I mean, I think back with my parents, I didn't hang out with them every day. Sometimes I wouldn't see my mom for a week. I didn't live in the same state as her. But the times we did get together, it meant the world. If that makes sense. It's not like, you know, when I have a kid, it's like having a dog. You want some more. You got all the time. Otherwise, just get a dog. You want extra traditional love. But I think I sit sometimes when I'm alone, I sit there and I realize how crazy it is that I was born, that I got, that you even exist. So the chances of you existing are so small, and the fact that you do, you became you, that is one of the greatest gifts. It is the greatest gift. No, so to be able to like pass on that gift and give someone else life is the greatest thing you could ever do. Like, I get it, there's people out there that are like, I would be a terrible parent. I don't want to be a parent. Yeah, undoubtedly you do. But there are people out there that are like maybe on the fence that are like, God, I'm pushing 30. It's okay. It's normal to be an older parent. It's probably smart. But, yeah, you know, all my friends, most of them have kids, and every single one of them, they all say, no matter what, you will never be ready. But when you do, you just figure it out. Yeah. And honestly, I commend you. We're all on that note. If you know, you know. No, but I think it's kind of just, it's a big part. And I've always been selfish too. I always knew that I would be, 36, don't like that. Good child, we lost the baby. It happened. Good child, done. Good company, done. But I always knew selfishly. You could have asked me at 25, I would have said, get back to me and come back. I would have said that. You know, I was like, I tried to say no as much as people do. But now that I am older, I'm going to tell you what, man. It gets lonelier and lonelier and lonelier. Like, even with my women. Because you see people less and less and less and less. And I kind of look back and I go, oh yeah, like my parents really only hung out with each other. And maybe we saw our family. My dad didn't have any friends. You know, they were in their 50s. I think that's kind of like almost everybody's trajectory. I don't think it's going to be behind these all the time. Or the bill. And then when your other friends start having kids, they start doing things that almost doesn't make sense for you to come along because you don't have a kid. Yeah. We're going to end it there. Anyways, I have a car. Get the hell out of here. Stop everybody called the hot run. Everybody bought a cheese. And that girlfriend, American, yeah, no deal. Come on, man. Come here. So.
Florida is full, and I don't understand why. You Northerners or anyone else ever comprehend the fact that we cannot handle any more of you moving here and moving into these crappy Lenore homes. These new built homes that are built for people like you. They're destroying our ecosystem. They're destroying our community lives. I cannot take any more to the trash that is our new businesses, our safety nets, that are just destroying now, talk about new built homes. You know what else is there? Go look and see the news article from
As somebody who grew up in South Florida his entire life and has recently left, so you worried about the history. Where I'm from, my hometown is now Little Cuba. And my other hometown where I relocated is now Haiti.
That's the beast. The war beast.
I'm talking, put through stuff.
Circa 1999.
XL, couple XL. I wanted the most expensive drink. So that I would get someone who spoke English and there would be AC in the car. Guess what? There was still a guy who didn't speak English. And there was no AC in the car. All stuff like this. And I don't even think it was the right guy. A lot of times I'd be using other people's accounts. So this is something to think about. You got all these people. I'm not worried about big folk coming in. Fucking whatever. It's already LA prices now anyways in Florida. But my thing is it's reverse gentrification. And I'm not preach this shit. Because you got people coming from third world countries like Haiti and Cuba, right? They move into the ghetto. America's ghetto is luxury. Living dude compared to what the prices go up. And this isn't rich people coming from nowhere. Kind of thing. I did the reverse. I mean, the Michigan dude. People go, are you having fucking money? I go, yeah, I am. I go, I want to pay for reasonably priced homes and reasonably priced living. I'm like, so fuck, dude. But Florida has gotten back. It's living in totally separate parts. South Florida is like, it's its own country at this point. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Damn, bitch.
The quality of last week, like, it's already done. It's already done. It's finished. It's fucked. It's done. I left. I mean, I saw the time on there, and I was Airbnb. I could go there when I'd like to. I guess. I'm not rich, so when I can afford to go, or the time makes sense. But, no. It's the new LA. What is the new LA? And the traffic is as bad as you say. And tonight, put it this way, it cost, to live in the ghetto in a purple house, $2,700. In the ghetto. Purple house. That's a deal for a home with a backyard. A 3-bedroom. It's a deal. $500,000. Back out. Location. The beach is nearby. I told you. Let me see. I'm gonna move to Florida now just to spite you. Florida is not full. Come on, y'all. It's pretty fucking tough. At least South Florida. Not the lady, they don't know. After bringing with you because it's expensive and you don't need to set the boat on that. It's happening all over the country. Yeah, I mean, there was never no idea to go. I can't wait to move to Detroit, black cities and stuff. You know, that was never like, you know, that people jumping out of their seats to go. I can't wait to move to South Carolina. It's kind of first time in ever life happened. You get, moving to Colorado to Southwest Florida this year. Wait, moving from Colorado to Southwest Florida this year, you can't stop me. Well, Denver's even worse than what happened in Florida. Denver. Dude. You could move out and make space. Yeah, you could move out. It's like, I live in the crap hole, Wisconsin, and I will move to Florida. I want sunshine and heat. Sorry, no, sorry. cool. I get it. I get it. I'm the opposite. I only grew up in some kind of mountains. And I never snowboard. I also do travel quite a bit. So I get to experience it. I don't know if I remember lived somewhere 24/7 with different things with snow. I've moved to the beach. I do get it. It's expensive there. By the way, the highest real estate markets right now are Connecticut, no way, Buffalo, New York, New York City, Providence, Rhode Island, San Jose, California, Jericho, Florida, even Milwaukee, dude. Milwaukee and Virginia is on the list. Augusta? Not open. They're not staying in. Charlotte, there are tons, right? That's their big city. But stay inside. I'm moving from Ohio in 4 years. Oh, Jesus. Ohio. Good, right? Okay. You gotta be very different to just stay up in Ohio. I was in Cincinnati. I'm a Cincinnati Sun. Yeah, dude. Literally. So, to say seasonal affection, I get it. This is happening in New York, too, bro. Yeah. Now, it's really happening. I wouldn't say everywhere, but it's happening. Florida sucks. Lived here 12 years, never going back. So, a better one state to live in. I don't think Florida sucks, but it's not all that it's cracked up to. If you love the beach and you could afford to go boating, you're in, baby. You're in. Also, I think it's just a fact of game everyone thinks so. Pontoon, you're in, beaches. Nevada is also full. I think that's kind of the conclusion that everything's full. I'm a Florida native, born and raised, 17, and forced to move up north. Now I've been contemplating moving. I'm from Florida, born and raised, and dude, I just like country. I love it. I even moved to California. California, really, the Florida is the new country. It really is. You know what drives me crazy there? The beautiful woman, beaches, disgusting. Trying to get out of it. What drives me nuts is the reverse gentrification. I'm gonna read it back. I read the link to her down below, but the northerners moved down, metaphorically. Like, let's say we moved to Cuba, a bunch of northerners. The prices of shit went down. City, and then you're gonna make it nicer, you're gonna make it better. But the worst part is in a lot of Florida, it's the opposite of that. The ghetto is already luxury. It's making it worse, but making it more expensive at the same time. But then it's also like these, people are getting hired. I'm obviously still paying people. I don't really care for some reason. I don't really give a shit. I don't. I really don't. But it is a bit weird that these all collectively, people are hiring. But it's not just successful for no reason. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It just doesn't make any sense. And I said physically. I love Florida. I always love Florida. I get lessons on it. I always love it. It's cool. But, anyways, I'm gonna get a shit like something to think about. I'm not worried about rich folks moving now. It's just my whole neighborhood where I grew up is like, I've been casted out. It's kind of fucked up. It's weird. It's fucking weird. Pop in here with quick commercial break. If any of you guys are looking to make a little extra money throughout the week, just simply by playing games and staying on your phone in the comfort of your own house on the couch, look no further. If you're the free cash out, they'll give you exactly that. A lot of people are averaging $20 a day. Sometimes even more than that. You use my link to hit this QR code right now. They'll give you a free $10 just for signing up. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people are making a little free. 20 lunch throughout the week.
Damn.
They've been destined for 20 years ago, and I left my friend over a decade ago, and has most of what I own.
Fucking crazy. You know what they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. I don't remember I can't remember the fucking pattern.
Our rainforest Pandora hits its 1-year birthday this week. And during the course of a year, and its growth, the rainforest evolved and remained the same as it overcame some serious ecological obstacles. Besides, I regret to announce that there's been 2 highly
That's like a trip over your fucking own self riff. Fucking Dime. Dime was the best.
Welcome to the season 3 finale of my Ecosystem Rebellion series and the 1-year anniversary episode of Battle Quiet Rainforest Living Plants. In the end, Canada, and Canada. Leaping forward in the forest, suddenly dies or disappears. It's strange because when this happens, my first instinct is to grieve and pay tribute to the deceased creature. But the thing is, you can't exactly get closure when you don't know the cause of death, leaving you with a ton of questions. I experienced this feeling again when accepting that Snip, a baby person born in our rainforest, have been missing for the past month or so. It either fell prey to Godzilla, the baby caiman, or adult huntsmen wandering the forest, or simply died from some other cause, like illness, and had just decayed somewhere I couldn't see. But whether Snip is still alive, and quite largely, the disappearance of Snip marked the discovery of the extinction of 2 key species that used to be highly abundant in the forest. They were suddenly nowhere to be seen, and I had to get to the bottom of what caused their extinctions. So which key species have gone extinct? First, the weaver leaves, a species of plant that lives in the leaves of trees and shrubs, which was introduced in Arcadia but later moved down to Pandora and dominated the rainforest. Over the past few weeks, I've seen their numbers start to dwindle, and now I don't see them anywhere. Not in the vines, not on the grass, not in Pandora, nor Arcadia. The other mass extinction was a species that was new and very promising, that completely dominated the Arcadian treetops. The very charterless ants had within a couple of weeks completely vanished. But I knew, in order to find out what had completely wiped out these 2 ant species, which were key to the ecosystem, I had to investigate and better understand all the current biological relationships within the rainforest, particularly the geopolitics, if you will, of the world in which these extinct species existed. Both the weaver ants and the very charterless ants have been either outcompeted to death or simply slaughtered by some other species in the rainforest, or had died due to some other unforeseen event. And I was determined to get to the bottom of the extinctions. I didn't know it yet, but what I would end up finding was pretty eye-opening. I shone my flashlight at a darkened corner of the canopy. It was the site of a serious war between ant species over a blob. A famous chromatoblast ants, called the chromatoblasters, was defending their blood with sweet stuff from enemy ants, invasive black crazy ants, known as the dark hole. This is our blood, the chromatoblasters threatened, with gas in the air, spraying formic acid at the black crazy ants, who didn't flinch. All while this was happening, another team of invasive ants were
Fucking guitar
taking
sucks.
quick swipes of the blood, discreetly hiding in the moss, and darting around where other ants weren't looking. They were the ghost ants. A couple of weeks back, I discovered that crickets in Arcadia had found a liking for the vines, and the chewed up parts were the site of much precious food. Vine nesting was oozing out of the chewed up parts, offering valuable nutrients to various life forms. When mold didn't get to this highly nutrient-dense resin first, ants were next to trying to kill it. The dwarf ant was the first to discover this dry field. Some of the vine nesting oozed out onto the forest floor, where a clan of older plant ants had successfully framed the resin ball, theirs. No other ants seen around, probably due to their highly potent formic acid sprays. I knew a better understanding of the geopolitical landscape, as well as all of the other players in the rainforest food chain, would help give me clues as to how our winter ants and the Volatile ants went extinct. And so I began my search where these extinct ants live. In the leaves. Mornings in Arcadia were always quite peaceful, with the sunbeams streaming into the canopy after a night of darkness, bringing energy to the leaves of the trees, which were covered in morning dew from the hydrating mists filtering through the tree branches. In the foliage, I spotted a new friend. A new, green trees was resting in the foliage in her bed of banyan leaves. After an entire night of feeding on the banyan foliage, she was asleep and happily digesting. Looking at her now, I noticed something I hadn't noticed before. She had little baby hairs all over her body. Known scientifically as setae, these baby hairs captured the humidifying droplets of water in the air, and the dew covered her entire body with little jewels adorning her solid green exoskeleton. Amini is a newcomer in our rainforest, and I felt she would do quite well in these trees, as she didn't have any predators. One old-timer that is proven to stand the test of time and survival in our rainforest treetops was this beauty. I've named her Candy. She's a gorgeous pink weevil who came into our rainforest with the plants. Swimming color aside, the texture of her exoskeleton was quite intriguing. Kind of like some pink soft stucco or soft fabric. Despite her being the perfect play size for many predators in our rainforest, she has managed to survive and thrive. I have seen her cool resting position, her front legs spread and folded like a cannon, as she smoothed the diet of her leaves. But speaking of the leaves, one possibility regarding the abrupt disappearance of the volatile ants, who nest in natural nooks and crevices created by leaves and wood in the trees they inhabit, is that the ants couldn't find a satisfactory place in which to properly establish a nest in Arcadia. But on the other hand, the canopy was full of a ton of unoccupied crevices to choose from. So that couldn't be it. And then I spotted our first possible clue. It was a volatile ant suspended in the air, dead on a web. There were a ton of web-building spiders everywhere on Arcadia. I began to consider if the webs built by spiders at virtually every free space between branches posed a hazard to the ants, enough to cause them to completely die out, not to mention the various nomadic spiders, like young huntsmen, who were hiding in ambush at various places. These treetops must not be the safest place for certain ants to thrive freely. But I soon discovered that there was one ant that seemed to evade all dangers that I creatures. She seems to appear out of nowhere after a several-month absence from the rainforest were back again with a vengeance. They were now omnipresent in the trees, and were in fact the most visible of all the ants in the treetops. Could it be possible that they just completely wiped out the Dolichotis ants, seeing as the chromatoblasters also nest in wood crevices? They seem to be daring enough to push back against other ant species that were after the same resources they were. This to me sounded like a more likely guess. It was then that I was suddenly distracted by tiny movements on the branches. A pair of thorns were rattling on a twig, and my eyes widened when I realized what they were. You see, family, these were not thorns. They were insects. Introducing bagworms. These thorns are actually homes built by a caterpillar using debris from the environment as material. It's a protective casing held together by silk, creating excellent camouflage for itself too. In this species, the caterpillar's horn is shaped like a unicorn horn, and underneath the horn is a little caterpillar doing handstands to inch their way around. In the past, we found a larger bagworm in Pandora, whose horn was more pancake-shaped. These bagworms were just babies, meaning they were probably recently born here from eggs laid by their moth parents onto one of the trees before I moved them into their baby. The protective disguises were probably working, as the chromatoblasters seemed to be quite constant, not realizing the larger horns were potentially pointing at the
She needs to be tuned.
Amazing how nature had given some creatures the most ingenious ways to evade predation. But to my surprise, seeing the chromatoblasters dominating the treetops, and possibly the reason our Dolichotis had vanished, was only the beginning. While I soon discovered that the chromatoblasters' empirical tactics of dominion had actually extended down into the lowlands of Pandora as well, where the reaper had also disappeared. Now I knew that to get to the bottom of the extinctions, I needed to literally start looking from the bottom of the food chain, that is, to the predators. To be completely honest, the true alphas of our entire rainforest, the most successful
Such a crusty ass guitar.
Pandora and Arcadia, were in fact the smallest ones. I sometimes forget that the detritivores, a bountiful team of little soil creatures that are often missed due to them being so tiny, ensure the health of the soils, which in turn sustain the rest of the ecosystem. A tiny mite moved along a decaying piece of wood. Mites like this fellow are actually arachnids and are super vital to ecosystems. Anywhere there's decaying material, whether it be decaying vines, decaying mystery art pieces, or leaf litter, these mites have Mother Nature's cleanup crew. They also are super thorough.
Plenty of bling
And
for a
don't just wander
fucking
at
crusty
soil
ass
level, they
thing.
climb high up the vines and into the trees in search of decaying material to feed on. And they're not alone in their great work. Springtails, these little flighty insects, are just as important as the mites at breaking down organic material to out the forest. Beyond their arthropods, no, some of the other tiny minuscule creatures that termites are unable to see. The team of rainforest spore creatures carry the entire ecosystem on their backs of the decaying material they consume, digest it, and sell it to create excellent fertilizer for plants. And needless to say, the plants are absolutely thriving in Pandora. Check out the compost. This is transited into its sprouted form now, as big as my hand. The fungal life seems also quite healthy at soil level. So, judging from the active soil biota and plants, it looks like the ecosystem from the bottom looks good. And then up, way up. Something like the vine vitro and vigilance. So the answers could be up here in the vines.
Suspect number one, Asian color in this.